Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope that you are healthy and excited to learn something new today. We are going to learn about operations of whole numbers. Please prepare your mathematics textbook and stationery. Before we start our lesson, let us pray together. Bless God, let your blessing go with me today, and grant that I may be obedient to my teachers and may learn with pleasure whatever I am taught. Amen. In the last meeting, we discussed order of operations. I hope that you still remember what we discussed last time. Now, we are going to learn about solving word problems. Before we start our discussion about solving word problems, I want to review our last materials. Do you still remember? Good job! I know that you still remember it. Okay, the steps to calculate numbers using order of operations are: first, do operations in parentheses or brackets. Then, do multiplications and divisions. You are supposed to work on it from left to right. Lastly, do additions and subtraction. You are supposed to work on it from left to right. Okay, now let's start our discussion about solving word problems. Please open your math textbook, page 41. Are you ready? Good. By the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to use models to solve multi-step word problems involving the 4 operations. Let's start, everyone. We have 5-step problem-solving method that you can use to solve the problems in this lesson. First, read the problem carefully. You may read it twice or more for a better understanding. The second step, write or highlight or underline the keywords you have gathered from the problem. The third, how do you solve it? Yes, you can draw a model. You can skip this step if you can solve the problem without drawing a model. But if I ask you to draw a model, you have to draw the model, will you? Next, write in a math expressions. The last, evaluate the math expression and remember to write the sentence. Now, open your mathematics textbook, page 42. Remember, we have to use our 5-step problem-solving method to help us. First, read the problem carefully. Okay, let's read the problem together. Mrs. Carr was 6 times as old as her grandson 7 years ago. Now, open your mathematics textbook, page 42. Remember, We have to use our 5-step problem solving method to help us. First, read the problem carefully. Okay, let's read the problem together. Mrs. Kaur was 6 times as old as her grandson 7 years ago. How old is Mrs. Kaur now if the sum of their present ages is 77 years? Next, after reading the problems, can you tell me the keywords you have gathered from the problem? Great job! Please highlight or underline the keyword like this. Mrs. Kaur was 6 times as old as her grandson 7 years ago. What are the other keywords? Nice! We know that the sum of their present ages is 77 years. The sum of their present ages is 77 years. And what do we need to find? Well done! We need to find Mrs. Kaur's age now. Okay. How do we solve the problem? Fantastic! Draw a model. What kind of model should we draw? Why? Amazing! Comparisons model. Because we are comparing Mrs. Kaur's and her grandson's ages. How many models should we draw? 2. Perfect. One comparing their ages for 7 years ago and one comparing their recent ages. For each model, what are we comparing? Nice! Mrs. Kaur's age and her grandson's age. Who is older? Mrs. Kaur. Yes, of course. Okay, now let's draw the first model. 7 years ago, how many times as old as her grandson was Mrs. Kaur? 6. Great job! How many units should we draw for Mrs. Kaur and her grandson? Yeah, 6 units for Mrs. Kaur and 1 unit for her grandson because 7 years ago Mrs. Kaur was 6 times as old as her grandson. Next, the second model. What changed after 7 years? Yeah, of course. Both Mrs. Kaur and her grandson are 7 years older. So duplicate the first model but add 7 years to Mrs. Kaur's and her grandson's ages to get the second model. After that, remember to label all the given values. And what to find? That is Mrs. Kaur's present age. Now, what is the sum of their present ages? 77. Good job! You can find it in the questions that you have already underlined before. Are all units in the second model the same? No. Why? Mrs. Kaur is 6 times as old as her grandson, but they have both aged by 7 years. What can we do to find one unit? Great job! Subtract 7 years each from their total age of 77 to get 7 equal units. Then divide it by 7 to find one unit. Okay, what do you need to find? Yeah, Mrs. Kaur present age. How can we find Mrs. Kaur present age? Nice! Find her age 7 years ago. And then add 7. Remember, after you find the answer, you have to write the sentence. Mrs. Kaur is 60 years old now. Well done. Do you understand so far? Good job. Next, let's learn more about solving a math problem from 1C. Open your textbook, page 43, and do number 1C. First, let's read the question together. Jimmy has 628 grams of cashew nut and 594 grams of peanuts. He mixes and packs them into 7 packets of 120 grams each. How many grams of nuts does Jimmy have left? What keywords have you gathered from the problem? Anyone knows? Good. Please underline or highlight them. Jimmy has 628 grams of cashew nut and 594 grams of peanuts. Then he mixes and packs them into 7 packets of 120 grams. Packs them into 7 packets of 120 grams. Good job! How can we solve the problem? Fantastic! Draw a model. But before we draw the model, what do we need to find? Yeah! First, we need to find the total weight of cashew nuts and peanuts. Then we need to find how much is left after packing them into 7 packets of 120 grams each. Now, what kind of model should we draw and why? Amazing! Part whole model, because we have the part and we want to find the whole. like this. First, draw a box to represent the total weight of cashew nuts and peanuts. But he mixed and packed them into 7 packets of 120 gram each. So we can draw a line. And this is 7 times 120 gram. And we have to find the other one, or the amount of nuts left after packing them into 7 packets of 120 gram each. First, we need to find the total weight of cashew nuts and peanuts. So, 628 plus 594 is equal to 1222 gram. Nice. And now, we need to find the total amount of nuts in 7 packets. So, 7 times 120 is equal to 840 gram. Then, to find the remainder, we need to subtract the answer from the total amount of nuts. So, 1222 minus 840 is equal to 382 gram. Well done. Remember to write the units gram. And don't forget to write the sentence. Jimmy has 382 gram of nuts left. Let's try 1A. Could you please open your mathematics textbook page 46 and read the problem? Okay. Are you done reading the problem? Good job. What keyword have you gathered from the problem? Great. The mass of a box and 6 cookies is 433 gram. And then each cookie has the same mass. Before that, the mass of the same box and 10 cookies is 505. Okay, now draw boxes. Before that, we write like this: box and 6 cookies and box and 10 cookies, like this. Now, for the first part, we draw a long box to represent the mass of the box. And then, we draw 6 small boxes to represent the mass of 6 cookies, like this. Box, the blue box, and then 6 cookies, 6 boxes to represent 6 cookies. How about the second part? Yeah, like the first one, but now we need to draw 10 small boxes to represent the mass of 10 cookies, like this, okay? What we need to find? Fantastic! We need to find the mass of the box. We need to find the mass of the box. But before that, what should we do? Good job! Find the mass of 4 cookies. 4 cookies. So, 505 minus 433 gram is equal to 72 gram. Good job. 4 unit is equal to 72 gram. What can we do to find 1 unit? Perfect. 72 divided by 4. So, 72 divided by 4 is equal to 18 gram. Well done. The mass of each cookies is 18 gram. What can we do to find the mass of 10 cookies or 10 units? Yeah, 10 times 18. So, 10 times 18 is equal to 180. Great! The mass of 10 cookies is 180 gram. Now we know the mass of 10 cookies and we know the mass of the box and 10 cookies. What can we do to find the mass of the box? Good job! We can subtract the mass of 10 cookies from the mass of the box and 10 cookies. And we get 325 gram. Remember to write the sentence. The mass of the box is 325 gram. Well done. Do you understand so far? Now let's move to 1B. Are you ready to solve this problem? Okay, let's start. You can read it first. I give you a few minutes to read. Okay, what keywords have you gathered from the problem? Nice! Underline or highlight them. A stamp collector bought 112 packets of stamps. There were 60 stamps in each packet. He then gave away 570 of the stamps and then put the remaining stamps into 25 albums. What do we need to find? We need to find how many stamps were there in each album. Okay, underline or highlight them. Before that, we need to find the total stamp bought by the stamp collector. What you can do to find it? Yes, good job. We can multiply 112 by 60. And it gives us 6,720 as the answer. After that, what should we do? We have to find the remaining stamps after he gave away 570. of the stem. Fantastic, we should subtract it. What is 6,720 minus 570? 6,150. There are 6,150 remaining stems. Now the last, we need to find how many stems in each album. What can we do to find it? Amazing. Divide. So 6,150 divided by 25 is equal to 246. Well done. Write the sentence. There were 246 stems in each album. The last number that we are going to discuss is 1C. Please open your mathematics textbook, page 48. Read it by yourself and try to understand first. Don't forget to underline or highlight the keywords. Are you done? Okay, let's start now. How do we solve the problem? Fantastic. Draw a model, but before that, we'll underline. A 10-liter tank and a pail contain a total of 8,343 milliliter of water. After 314 milliliter of water was poured from the pail into the tank had 12 times as much water as the pail. The question is, how much water was there in the tank at first? Okay. How many models should we draw? 2. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to draw the first model. Draw a small box for the water in the pail and draw a longer box for the water in the tank. Next, the second model. What changed after 314 milliliter of water was poured from the pail into the tank? Yeah, the tank had 12 times as much water as the pail. So we draw one box for the water in the pail and 12 boxes for the water in the tank. After that, remember to label all the given values and what is to be found. What is? That is, how much water was there in the tank at first. 1 unit of water in the pail and 12 units of water in the tank. So we have 13 units altogether. 13 units equals 8,346 milliliter. How can we find 1 unit? Nice! 8,346 divided by 13 is equal to 642. Great job! There were 642 milliliter of water in the pail in the end. Now, how can we find how much water in the pail at first? Now, how can we find how much water in the pail at first? Yeah, you're right. Add it to 314. So, 642 plus 314 is equal to 956. Fantastic. There were 956 milliliter of water in the pail at first. Now the last. How can we find how much water in the tank at first? We need to subtract the answer from the total amount of water. Okay, 8,346 minus 956 is equal to 7,390. Well done. Remember to write the sentence. There were 7,390 milliliter of water in the tank at first. Well done. Do you understand so far? Good. Well, this is the summary of this lesson. Remember, we have 5-step problem solving method that you can use to solve the math problems. First, read the problem carefully. You may read it twice or more for a better understanding. The second step, write or highlight or underline the keywords you have gathered from the problem. The third, draw a model. You can skip this step if you can solve the problem without drawing a model. But if I ask you to draw a model, you have to draw the model. Next, write it in the math expressions. The last, evaluate math expression and remember to write the sentence. To have better understanding about this lesson, please do some practices in your math workbook on page 23 until 30, numbers 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7. However, if you want to do all the questions, it will be great and I will be happy to check the answer for you. Do your best, capture your work clearly, convert it into PDF, and send it to me through Google Classroom. Have a great time! Thank you!